Welcome to the Demidchik Law Firm YouTube channel.
Hi, I am Anna Demidchik with Demidchik Law Firm. Here with me is my colleague Yuan Li. In the English-speaking world, he goes by Bill. And today we're talking about how what should have been a short family trip overseas turned into him being stuck outside of the United States for 11 months. Before we do that, let me introduce Bill a little bit more. Bill is an attorney licensed in California, both state and the Central District of California. He is also licensed to practice law in China. He started practicing law in 2010. He joined my law firm in 2018 and has been a very valuable colleague and a very diligent practicing attorney. Now, this is about his personal nerve-wracking experience. And with that, Bill, so tell us, when you were leaving for your family trip, did you anticipate any problems?
Hi, Anna. Oh, no, I don't have a clue at all. So I planned a 2-week trip back to China because I haven't been back for like 6 years. So I only packed like several clothes and this very small suitcase. So yeah, I thought I could be back like in 2 weeks.
Okay. And so what happened?
Well, first I applied because I'm on H1B status, so I always need a H1B visa to re-enter the States. So I make all the arrangements. So when I left the country, the first thing I do is go to the U.S. Embassy in Singapore. That's because it's more convenient for me for a H1B visa interview. And everything went smoothly. And the visa officer even told me that your visa is approved and you will receive the visa in like 4 to 5 days. But the next day I received an email from the embassy said, oh, we found some additional needs to do some security screening or clearance. So it may take another 2 to 8 weeks. Then everything just lost control.
Could it have been related to any issues with your immigration status in the United States?
I don't think so because I applied visa several times. I had my H1B application and extension. Everything is so smooth, and that's why I don't have any. I can't even imagine I will encounter this kind of issues.
Okay, so everything's been fine, everything's been approved before, and suddenly out of the blue, you get stuck on the border. And you went with the family, right? Was your family able to re-enter?
Well, they can because they are on different status. My children, they are U.S. citizens, so they have no trouble to re-enter the country. It's just me with my H1B visa.
Mm-hmm. And so you were all by yourself for 11 months?
Oh, well, my parents are in China, so I'm kind of have some rare time to reunion with my parents, but I'm separate from my wife and my kids.
Mm-hmm. Definitely very difficult. Did you ever learn what the issue was?
Well, I still don't know. They will never tell you, and because everything is all the information is very, very brief. It's just that it's because of national security. It's just security clearance. So they never tell me what the reason triggers the clearance and why it takes so long. No, never.
And when you say they, who exactly do you mean?
Well, I can only talk to the people in Singapore embassy, the consulate section. I was told that the case was transferred to the Department of State in Washington, D.C., but I never got a chance to talk to anyone in the Department of State. And even later, when we filed a lawsuit, our attorney can only talk to the people from the Department of Justice. That's all the people we can talk to.
Mm-hmm. And the lawsuit you're referring to, please tell us more about that.
Yes. After seven months of waiting away from the work and my family, I talked to the colleague in our law office in the immigration department about the situation, and we decided to file a civil action in federal court in Central District of California. It's called a writ of mandamus. It means when sometimes the government did not finish the job in a reasonable time, then we can file this lawsuit to ask the government to finish that job.
Right. And from what I know, this remedy is quite impactful and very underutilized. Very few people know about it.
Yes. First of all, like very few people even know about this concept of writ of mandamus, and even they know, most of the time they use this action for the situation when they did not get their immigration interview for years, things like that. But for the situation I have, some people call it administrative processing or security clearance or just visa check. For those things, there's still discussion whether those situations can be applied in this kind of lawsuit, but my case show it is.
Right, because from what I can tell, a lot of times we can really use that tool to essentially draw the government's attention to the case so that it doesn't sit there and languish in the bureaucracy forgotten by everybody, right? It's just basically tells them, hey, take a look at this one, it's urgent, and they do. And so what happened once we filed the lawsuit?
Well, first, because we sue the federal government, then the assistant U.S. attorney from Department of Justice will be the attorney for federal government. So they reached us, they asked for extension, they're trying to solve the issue, but still they were not able to do that. So they filed a motion to dismiss the case. And our law firm is well prepared, and we filed really detailed opposition. And eventually the judge supported our opposition, denied their motion to dismiss the case. And 4 days later, my clearance was finished.
Yes, luckily. Yes, so basically as soon as the Department of State saw that there would be more efforts, and Department of Justice and Department of State saw that there will be more efforts just going through the motions with the court, they essentially dismissed the security clearance because apparently there was nothing, no issues, no problems there. You were perfectly clear and fine to come back in.
Yes, I think that's one important thing we should know about the writ of mandamus. It will just push the government to make a decision sooner, but it will not guarantee you get a good outcome. So sometimes if you do have some issues, that will just get you a sooner negative outcome.
Right, exactly. It's really pushing the government to simply make a decision, whatever decision they choose to make. And here they essentially said that, you know what, there was never a problem, come back in. Well, it's good. It's good. What are your feelings about it, Bill?
I feel lucky. Of course, the whole situation is a horrible experience, but eventually I'm able to come back. And I'm really grateful the firm keep my position for 11 months or even longer. And I know that can be an issue for some other H1B visa holders. That's why they should seek this kind of remedy when they know they are in such a situation. And hopefully we can help other people in the same situation.
Well, yes, of course, Bill, you are absolutely worth it as an employee and as a colleague. What is your advice to the people preparing to leave the country on a short vacation?
Well, now, after experience everything, my suggestions will be not try any international travel until you get a green card. If you seriously consider to stay in the U.S. for a long time, if you start your career here, because even for me, I don't have any bad background, negative background. I thought I should be all the previous experience is good, so I thought I will have the chance I encounter this kind of situation is really low. But when it happened, it's 100% for us, for individual. So it's the best choice is stay in the States and until your re-entry is guaranteed.
Yes, quite right. Yes, it's always safest to just get a green card and travel then, because the green card does give you more rights to re-enter as opposed to any kind of other visas. unfortunately, and it is very difficult to stay away from the family for so long, but sometimes it's worth it. Well, thank you, Bill, for sharing your experience. And now we know that mandamus action can also be used in this type of situations. And I'm very glad that it all resolved favorably.
Thank you, Anna.